Hey everyone, this is the ShutInBakas, my name is Chris. Today we are back for Uramichi-Oniisan. It's ended. It's over. What? How was it? Let's talk about it. So I originally talked about this show, ages ago in a video where we were like on episode 3 or something. And I was saying how it's an underrated comedy of the season. That's still the case. Almost nobody knows this show exists. I'm the only person who I know has watched this show entirely. And it was fun. Now, I understand that this show is not everyone's cup of tea, just mainly because of the cynical humor. But overall, it was funny. I found it funny, even though I am not in a very harsh work environment, personally. I found it funny because you can just relate to the troubles of these characters, even if the work stuff isn't entirely your cup of tea. It's actually got a bit more to it. It actually goes into the depths of the characters, and why they are how they are, what they're doing with their lives, what got them to this point, what they're really like instead of their, TV show characters. And I thought that was interesting because, it's always an interesting concept to look behind the masks that everyone puts on. And these individuals are just all very cynical individuals. Very cynical individuals. And overall, I think it worked out pretty well. Surprisingly, the joke of Uramichi-Oniisan hating his life did surprisingly keep up. It didn't really get too stale, because eventually it kind of got off of that trend and went into different characters, and they started introducing different things. So it was kind of like a non-problem in that regard. It did show up, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the main focus from like halfway on. It was just mainly what they were doing and how that's funny. Mainly, I just feel super bad for Utano, which is the one female character that's prevalent in the show, and she is just fantastic. She is waifu material, and that whoever that damn comedian boyfriend is needs to put a ring on that finger, because she's great, she's hilarious. And she's got a great singing voice, so that's just winning on its own. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of the stuff that's recorded for the show, including the opening and the ending, is actually recorded by the singing Oniisans, as they like to call themselves, in the show. So the voice actors actually sung the opening and the ending. So that's cool. They actually have really good voices regardless. So it's actually very interesting to see that. And we've also got, the listless man that just really finds sex jokes really funny. I will admit I kind of relate to that one. Every time, in the last episode, he was just going on about my boner for some reason, so I just couldn't stop going, seriously. But I would probably do the same thing, let's be real. And we've also got the two mascot characters, which they aren't incredibly important, they're just kind of like the kind of observant characters that observe Uramichi from a distance. We got the Bunny Man, which I can't remember their names, I just kind of talk about them as their mascot shapes. So we've got Bunny Man, which is the spastic, kind of sociable type, which is always trying to get Uramichi to do things, but she just doesn't want to do them. And we've got the Bear Man, which is the more, I guess, plain, bland type of character, like the realist man, the straight man, I guess you would call it something like that. But yeah, basically he's there, and they don't really add much except for just the comedy aspects, which, to be fair, the show is all about comedy. So they're there, they don't do much, they're kind of like old friends of Uramichi, so it was interesting to see their backstory with him in college. So I was interested to see that, at least. Yeah, overall, I would say the show surprisingly kept a good momentum. The last episode was, the last two episodes, actually. The second last episode, number 12, was a weird one because they actually opened it up to an arc for the last episode, but it was actually just a misunderstanding, which I knew was going to be the case. They were basically going on about, like, oh, Uramichi is going to quit the show, oh, this is so sad, and then they had, this whole episode reminiscing on the old days, and, seeing him before he was as cynical as he is now, and all that stuff. And it turns out he was just quitting the gym instead of the show that he goes to. So, yeah, big misunderstanding, not a lot of payoff, but I believe they just did that so that they could tell us the backstory of Uramichi, and his lovable companions. And yeah, I mean, there really wasn't much backstory on the other two. I really wanted to know more about Utano, which was a pop idol, which is a washed out pop idol, to be more specific, and is now doing, singing for a kids show. I like her character a lot. She didn't get as much development as I wanted. I like her character design as well. It's actually really cute. And, well, it looks good, because the cool part about the show is all the characters look like adults. Like, most of the time, these characters will look like 12-year-olds who are pretending to be adults, but they actually look like adults, and I respect that. And Utano actually does look like a adult woman, so there you go. And Eketeru, that's the man, that's the other singer man. He was alright. He didn't really get much development either. He was just kind of there, but I feel like if we get a second season, those two probably would get more development, as they need it, because as it stands, they're just kind of there. Not that that's a bad thing, it's a comedy show. You're meant to be laughing, not enjoying the story, per se. It's just kind of like, when they start introducing stories for you to look at, it kind of becomes obvious that they ran out of time to do stuff with the other characters. But hey, who cares? It was a funny show, the momentum kept up, which is strange, because I was thinking it was going to get really boring, of the same joke being, Uramichi hates his life. Like, I mean, that joke did get kind of bland about halfway in, but they kind of dropped it in favor for just them doing stupid things. And it kind of got relatable on that point, because it's like, oh, so you want me to do this? Okay, I guess I gotta do it. That sort of thing. It was a fun time overall. So overall, I am just surprised about this show. The opening song has grown on me quite a lot. I like to listen to it. And the ending song is still a banger. Dream On. It's just a very good song. And I recommend you guys go watch it if you haven't already, because it's actually just a very it's not light-hearted, I'll say it's a more cynical comedy slice of life, where you can, get the more realistic aspects of life, instead of it being all hunky-dory, like Non-Non-Biyori, where it's all happy and go lucky and there's nothing wrong with the world. This one is the opposite, where it points out the wrongs of the world, and all the problems that people go through, but they actually, at the end of the final episode, they said, that's what being human's all about. You got to live with what you get. And overall, I agree with that sentiment. You live with what you get, and the good and the bad parts make life what it is. So, you just have to live with it. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you, but overall, I think the ending was pretty bittersweet overall. It was just kind of, hey, we're gonna suffer, but we're gonna suffer together. That sort of thing. Yeah, so overall, that's my review of Uramichi-Oniisan. There's not much to say about this show, because there's, no story, and the same jokes for pretty much every episode, so I would struggle to say you could binge watch this. I think it would have been better if everyone watched it weekly, because I didn't get bored of it every week, because I kept forgetting about it, so I'd keep watching it every 2 weeks or so. So I would say maybe binging it would be a bit difficult, because the jokes are kind of repetitive and no storyline to keep you interested, I suppose, but it's a fun time. Watch it if you're wanting something a bit more dry and adult comedy. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Hit the like button if you liked the video, dislike it if you didn't. Leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of Uramichi-Oniisan, or if you want to watch it, tell me why. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, ding the bell button if you want to know when we're uploading, follow me on Twitter at ShutInBakas, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.